Hello, I'm Deen Hallissey, uh, digital influencer for Disability Arts Online, and today I'm interviewing a musician and poet, Sam Castell-Ward. You got a new EP out?
Yes, a new EP of my poems, which me and my band recorded. This was the first time actually I'd done stuff where other people would write the music. So I would record my poems remotely with my band, like as in I would record them and send them to a band member. They'd make up some music for it. And yeah, something else that's been really cool about it was that we got to make for each of the five poems on the EP, we got to make a video for each one with five different filmmakers, including the most recent one, the video for my poem "When I Love My Life."
Mm. Oh yeah, 'cause that's one of the poems I watched as well. So I think it's filmed in your house, wasn't it? Like filmed
Yes,
out
yeah,
there.
yeah. Kind of half of the footage was filmed in my house, which was the thing that took
Mm.
yeah took up the most time was doing lots of shots, mostly in my bedroom, kind of representing sort of isolation I was feeling.
Yeah. Because I mean, I kind of felt that as well. Because like there were times where I loved my life, there were times where I hated my life. It was like up and down. It was like, help me, And of course, there was the other poem, and I said really struck a chord with me because I did something similar to that with my former housemates, but it was to do with the royal family. But I won't tell you too much about that. I'll tell you that off camera. So your style of music, is it like? Because I'm trying to tell, is it like grunge, hipster, rock? Is that a mixture of like
Mixture,
stuff?
yeah, it's a mixture. It's always the music that I do, my own songs. It's always hard to describe, always has
Mm,
been, because it's quite different. So how to describe what style it is to say, oh, if you like this style of music, you might like my style of stuff.
mm,
Because I mean, it was like I started being influenced by people like Bob Dylan and Woody
mm,
Guthrie and Johnny Cash and Tom Waits, but then but I when I first started playing guitars, that's when I was listening to more like say Nirvana and yeah, Metallica and System of a Down, and I was more into more kind of really like heavy metal stuff and some punk stuff like the Clash and the Sex Pistols, and so then people think my songs come across as quite kind of raw and punky, so kind
mm,
of combines them. I remember someone who I played at a punk gig with said that my music made her think of like a combination of Bob Dylan and punk, which seemed to be kind of combination. But yeah, I mean, I'm not always. Sometimes my songs aren't always in the same style.
mm,
They're influenced by some of it by more heavier stuff, some of it's more folky. Sometimes I've been influenced by other stuff like reggae or
mm,
blues, and but also then when we did the music for my poems, like it was interesting because the music that other people made was quite a different style. A lot of it was more electronic than I'd normally be, but it still sounded like me, it still fitted in, even though it was really different genre wise mostly.
mm.
Yeah.
I mean, with me, I mean, I've had like a few lessons on like the drums, and I've kind of played the guitar, but I'm kind of rubbish at it. 'Cause, I mean, I do like music, but I'm just like not really good at writing music. I'm more writing stories and all that. I mean, if I did get into music, I'd probably be like a cross between like goth punk, hair metal, and new wave. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm kind of going for the trad goth style.
Yeah, but that would be cool. Yeah, your imaginary music
Yeah,
sounds cool. Yeah.
uh,
Also imagine it, yes.
yeah. I have a very strong imagination, if you
Yeah.
say yourself. So,
Yes. Well, yeah, creative
I
people.
mean, probably not as political as you. I mean, I do have political in some sort of way. Like, I dream of being a world where it's like everything is fair and there's no greed or corruption. Kind of like with the Volgalock thing I'm working on. No greed, no corruption, and everyone who gets a CMA, Avatar, like they're dead yet, but like they're usually people who are like disabled, less fortunate, living in poverty, or just the marginalised people who are struggling, basically.
Yeah, and
If you're greedy or rich or the upper class, or you're not permitted. You know.
yeah, and it's a bit like in that Skunk and Nancy song, everything's political. When people think that they aren't involved in politics, but then talking about anything about anyone's survival or welfare, etc., is
Yeah.
to do with politics. Yeah, sadly, yes, because
Yeah.
it's a nightmare to be involved in, especially with how far things have been. The right continues to rise and has
Yeah.
for more than 10 years. More than 15 even, I think.
In fact,
probably.
it was like I was on a date with my partner once, yeah, and they said like, the thing is, I was saying I don't like to get political, and they were like saying, oh, but with the way you were talking, like with the whole Volgok thing, even then you were getting political, and I was like, oh damn, even though I didn't want to get political, but I was,
Yeah.
without my knowing it,
Impossible to avoid, pretty much.
Yeah, but then again, it beats like. Because there are some people who just talk and talk and talk about like a party that's not even that good, and they just like say, "Oh, these politics are great. Oh, Tony Blair's great," and all that, and yeah, well, he kind of talks like that.
Good.
But yeah,
good ranting about stuff like that for hours. Yeah,
yeah, I know.
Yeah. Extended interview. Yeah,
I did check out some of your videos and all that, and of course, I've subscribed to your YouTube channel.
Thank you.
So yep.
Yeah.
EH Tarzan.
Okay, cool. I've got you. I've got Disability Arts Online one as well, but I look for you as well. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously look for the Volgolok animation I did, because I basically just got back into animation again after so many years.
But yeah, actually, because I remember in my poetry video for my poem "When I Love My Life," we had some content where I was going into space, and watching your Volgolok video that I saw reminded me how we were both in some ways doing a similar thing, because we both had stuff of us going into space and other characters being into space, and that kind of imagery, that kind of setting that we both went for was interesting, that we both kind of went for that. And I remember, and Hannah Mason from her organization Good Studio has a few extra O's, so I think it's like Good Studio, it's maybe how I should say it, when she made the video, because we kind of discussed the idea for the video together, and I had an idea, and we kind of looked at different sort of ideas for it. And I remember her sort of filming me on with some green screen footage actually, and with me kind of like sort of lying down and being like I'm going in space, and her sort of standing on a chair over me. With quite a interesting experience, because we weren't originally going to go for space. Well, that wasn't an original idea. I said maybe it could be me being isolated a lot at mine, or just somewhere or other, and then in somewhere that could represent maybe being at home, which we did end up using my place in the end. And we thought maybe it could end with me, just walking through a door to represent me going out back into the world, able to sort of go out again and try and enjoy life more. But I ended up saying, actually, what about the idea of it being in space a bit? I ended up thinking maybe that could represent going out, getting out there in a less literal way, because that was a bit influenced by maybe making some of the artwork for the EP. I remember we used some drawings that I did. I made some drawings for the EP. And also for the video for another of my poems, Through the Circle, me and Rosie Ridgway, who made the video for that, we made some paintings involving some stuff with space, and I think that kind of was one of the things that kind of so I was doing. So also I'm just doing some, because I also like to draw just for enjoyment, and kind of sometimes can feel therapeutic if I'm feeling kind of depressed or alone or etc. Those type of, if I'm feeling like that. And I remember a drawing I did of me and a friend being in space, and that I think actually the painting that one of the paintings that me and Rosie did for the video for my poem Through the Circle, that was that was based on that drawing I did. of me and my friend, and I think then I thought of, and around that same sort of time, I thought actually maybe some of the video for When I Love My Life could be in space. That could represent kind of getting out there and stuff. Because I don't know how you felt about lockdown. I went through a lot of emotions, and I felt a lot of maybe personal development during the coronavirus lockdowns. Because I remember at first, because I found out that I was going to have to do shielding, and I ended up thinking, oh, this is a nightmare. I'm going to have to stay in for 12 weeks, I think I was told to stay in for. How am I going to cope with that? But then quickly I kind of got used to it, and that's the first time I felt like I got comfortable with just, or at least first time in my adult life, got comfortable with just spending time by myself. Because I used to always feel guilty, like, oh no, I should be going out, socializing or dating or looking for more career opportunities. But it felt like first time I had permission, as an adult anyway, to just do whatever I enjoy, like whether that's playing video games, watching wrestling or other things on TV or drawing.
So you're into wrestling as well?
Yeah, big wrestling fan since I was a kid. Yeah, I mean, I went to Pro Wrestling Eve's show last night in Great Portland Street, and it's really cool actually seeing how some of the wrestlers that I've seen there have gone on, like, done to be in AEW or Ring of Honor or WWE or even ones who have been on those big American companies, have then gone back into some of the shows that I've been to in London. But it's really kind of cool thing that's been with me, for my life, throughout my life. And actually, that was something that was I felt comforting during sort of isolations, not just in lockdowns, but during lockdowns. I also, at the start of the first lockdown, for about 12 weeks, I was doing shielding.
Yeah, because I got into wrestling I think it was several years, like 2016 and all that. My friend took me to WrestleMania at the time, and I've been getting into more into it ever since. In fact, I met two wrestlers, AJ Styles and Chris Jericho.
Two of the best in the kind of American or Canadian wrestling. Yeah.
So quite also quite into 90s grunge and all that.
Because I feel my taste in music is varied, but I guess like a lot of people who are into rock music, involves loads of different types of rock, including sort of grunge stuff from the 90s, like Alice in Chains are one of my favorite bands, when I was a teenager, that's when I got into sort of music. Well, I guess a lot of stuff that was around in the 90s, including Nirvana, and some of the other obvious ones like Metallica, and then the Sex Pistols, weren't around in the 90s, but then before getting into other bands like Tool and Pantera and Alice in Chains and Killing Joke, who became one of my favorite bands as well.
So this is Sam Castell-Ward, and watching Disability Arts TV. Peace out.